Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to the start of a brand new RimWorld Let's Play. This is probably going to be called, I don't know, it could be called the RimMart Corporation Let's Play, or something like that. That is our ideology. We are going corporate again. We're going to be talking about our ideology. We're also going to be talking about our mod setup. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm recording this first, but I think what I'm going to do is go afterwards and record a setup video where I show the list of mods, I discuss maybe the ideology in depth and a couple of other things, and that should be linked down below. But I want to record the first episode here first to make sure that I'm groovy with all the mods I have loaded. We are once again, though, returning to a corporate theme. We've done one once before, a long time ago. We had a The Company run, where we are a mining company. This time, we are going retail, baby. And our job, we have been tasked by the head office to open a branch of a giant department store, the RimMart for this planet. I don't know, do we come up with a name for the planet? Because the world gets, like, names for its area. We're in the Vasosnos forest. But I don't think, like, it gives the name to a planet at any point. I don't know, this Planet Belgium or something like that. Or we just get a numbered one. We are just the RimMart store number 1818 or something of that nature. But we're going to be starting here. And the way this corporation runs is a couple of things. First of all, we're going to run with a special rule. We are not allowed to sell to caravans. No, we have to sell everything in our store. For that purpose, we are running the hospitality mod. The hospitality mod is generally themed as sort of a hotel kind of mod, but in addition to letting visitors come and rent a room in your colony for a few days to stay, it does also allow them to shop. You can designate shopping areas where they can purchase goods from your colony. And that's how we're going to be making our silver. We cannot sell directly to caravans. We can buy from them. That's fine. I mean, they're, you know, our import suppliers, basically. But we can't sell to them. If we want to make money, we're going to have to go and sell it otherwise. Let's let our people land and see what we've got. And the answer is we ain't got nothing. We are starting with, well, this is a variant. I customized the scenario where you start with absolutely nothing, whose name I don't want to say because I think it gets me flagged on YouTube for some reason. Anyway, that scenario, which is normally just one person who starts with absolutely nothing, we are starting with 3 people who have absolutely nothing, just to speed things up a little bit more, and also give us a few interesting characters right from the start. These guys have not been min-maxed. They did get rolled a few times to make sure that things weren't terrible, but we ended up with a really funny situation. We've got Doc Value over here. Okay, I gotta say, super immune trait, obviously sick good. Right, but Doc Value is a psychopath. We've got Price Point, who's also a psychopath. It just worked out that way. And KitchenAid, who is kind. I mean, if this isn't the setup for some sort of weird dystopian sitcom, I don't know what is. Anyway, we're going to try to use some descriptive nicknames where we've got. So Doc Value over here does have a high medical skill. They're also a great crafter. They're going to be our primary crafter almost certainly in between doing surgeries. And early game, they're also going to be used for their construction. Price Point. Also Doc Value. Okay, Doc Value can't fight. Although being super immune is kind of nice. But yeah, I mean, we're going to give them a gun, obviously, because we're going to give everyone a gun. But then our god tier at it. Price Point, however, is excellent at shooting. It's going to make a great early hunter, perhaps, for us. They have 1 tick of passion in construction. Probably the early game for them is going to be spent heavily investing in construction, to the point where since they don't really have anything else going on, most likely, despite not having double passion, they're probably going to be kind of full-time on construction for most of the game and develop a lot of skill that way, which is nice. They got the animal passion, so they're going to be potentially able to do some taming or something. I don't think that's really going to be our vibe, although we might do the tame slaughter kind of trick where you tame something and then slaughter them immediately rather than doing the hunt, which has a couple of different advantages depending on what you're doing it with. You do have double passion social, which is great because we are going to need someone to recruit more people into this small family business that we're running. And then KitchenAid has cooking and planting as a combo, which does tend to keep people very busy. Like, you've got double passion for intellectual, but I'm worried you're never going to get around to it because I think that these two are full-time jobs. In fact, as the colony grows, either one of these is a full-time job. You also have double passion for melee, so you're going to be a pretty decent melee option for us. I mean, you're not tough or anything, and you don't have that much raw skill in it right now, but we'll probably set you up as maybe a primary kind of melee person. But before we do any of that, we've just got to survive our first few days. We have 3 people to feed. Now, unlike the tribal start, we don't start with everyone being malnourished. On the other hand, we don't start with any pemmican or anything of the sort. So this map, and I think it's a little larger. I think that's the 275 by 275 map. Let's see. If I go into the plan mode and I drag from the first square downwards, yeah, 275. So half of this, well, if this was 280, it'd be 140. So 137-ish is about the halfway point. 137 there, let's say. And then let me just move to the edge of the map here and go to 137 there. Okay, so theoretically, this is the midpoint of the map. There's another way to do this. Certainly let me know. But yeah, I'm not aware of it. But there we go. We can keep a little thing there, because what we're going to do is I want this place to look like a giant shopping center. I want our base to be a big giant box. I think my plan is probably to go and use our sort of standard baseline size, which is the sort of 13 by 13 building or the 11 by 11 internal space, and build a series of those and then knock down the walls in between, but to keep this sort of very boxy kind of vibe. A lot of it might actually be a very open floor plan, like a department store. We'll see. So that's one thing we've got going for us. The other thing is I'm going to pave a lot of this world because, of course, we need like a giant parking lot. Now, let's talk about our ideology for a second, right? The RimMart Corporation. I am running the Alpha Memes mod. There might be another one too, I don't remember, to add a couple extra things. Collectivist, of course, is baseline. We are a part of a big corporate family. We've got the tripled work drive, which I never remember to use, but thematically it felt like it made a lot of sense. The City Builders meme here means that we want a permanent base. We do not like traveling, and other than we'll probably have to respond to like the occasional, I don't know, off map, like psychic droner or something like that we're gonna have to go and take out. We really want to stay here. We're not running trade caravans to other settlements. That's not how we're gonna operate on this game. And then we got deforestation here, which only sort of kind of made sense thematically, but it sort of worked because I was like, oh, I want to pave the world. Now, weirdly, I don't think I can get rid of all trees and prevent all trees forever and ever, because one of the things, okay, so one of the things is we do get high wood cutting yield. Cool, an extra 10%, that's nice. And apparently we like anima screams, so that's funny. But we got the trees despise. Now, we don't want to be near trees, so again, paving over the world makes a lot of sense, but there's also a mood debuff based on how many trees were destroyed. So if we're not actively and constantly destroying trees, I think we'll presumably get that debuff, which is weird. Like, what if you were on like an ice sheet with no trees? Would you get a debuff because you're unhappy because you're not cutting down trees? I don't know, but because I thought, oh, we'll pave the whole thing and then put up a fiber corn farm so that we get a wood supply. But we may have to leave some. In fact, we may need to explicitly try to grow some trees just so we can chop them down for the buff. I don't think we'll need to on this map. We'll just leave like a fringe or a little area that is unpaved so that we do have a bit of a source of wood. And in fact, one of the things I'm considering, and I never hardly ever anyway, run these, is these wood fire generators. I usually just go and work my way up to like renewable power with solar and wind. And we'll probably still use that because it's, you know, unlimited labor-free power, right? It makes perfect sense in RimWorld, no matter our vibe. But early on, we might lean into these a little bit more because we're more than happy to chop down more trees. So we might consider that. Now, in terms of our initial situation here, we've got a little bit of fertile territory near the center of the map. Actually, there's a little patch there. I don't know how convenient that would be to work. Actually, that's an interesting point. I was going to go and build my first building such that the center of the room was centered here, which would infringe on this a little bit. But maybe I use this as the base of just a corner here. Like, I don't really care about the middle itself. As long as we are growing maybe symmetrically out of the middle, that's actually not too shabby. Like, let's say, well, I was going to say, I don't even know if we can put down, yeah, we have no material at all. So we can't even like start planning on wood mode. So obviously we're gonna have to chop down some trees. But yeah, maybe we'll do a little bit of crop growing here just because it is so darn close. Let's go and I'll square it off just for looks. And it is so close to the base. So we're going to grow some rice here. There we go. And I was going to say, let's take down this wall. I'm not entirely sure it's going to have a fertile tile beneath it, but we're going to try to take it off. And then we'll definitely plant some more as well. Let me go and designate. Do I again want to just square this off? You know what? Actually, early on, since that one is close, so I'll do the square. Plus, it looks nicer. But early on, I really don't want to spend time planting anything but the most fertile terrain. So we need about 20 tiles per person to sustain the food. So that'll be there with a little bit of overkill and then a little bit more overkill here. I think that's fine, especially starting out. We won't have anything banked, and we want to go and accumulate it. And, oh, it is year-round growing over here. That's nice. Okay. I don't know if I'd realized that when I plopped it down. I was just looking for a very flat place that didn't have a lake or a big mountain in the middle of the map, because I really want to square things off a whole lot. Just realized we are running the Dubs Bad Hygiene mod. Do we have any water on the map? Shallow water over there. Because people are going to go and walk a million miles away to go and wash their hands. Let me just check. Yeah, hygiene over here. There's also this. This is from one of the vanilla expanded mods. They add. Is it called fulfillment or is the achievement mod? I can't remember what it's called. But these are people actually want some specific things to be fully fulfilled. And then if they get fully fulfilled, they get another growth moment. Just like when they grow up with like good education, they get to pick an extra trait and maybe like an extra skill passion. It's actually really neat. I really like that idea. So some of the mods I've added is to further a theme, and some of it is just to like shake up the gameplay a little bit. Okay, we are going to need to chop down a few trees around here. So let's go. I'm using the Allow Plus here to do the harvest fully grown, because what I only want to do is chop down trees that have the ready to harvest thing, so we get maximum amount of wood. If something is still growing, then we'd like to not chop them instantly, because we want to get more material for a buck. So we could check that individually, or I can just use the harvest fully grown to make it a lot easier to just do that. We'll go and put some around our little croppy area as well. Okay. And we are going to need some food fairly quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out, say this amount. There is a apple tree over here. Oh, is that really the only one in vision range? I'm trying to double click it. Wow. And it's not fully grown. Okay, tell you what, I'm going to go harvest fully grown. If I hold shift, it's only going to include plants. I'm going to do a larger-ish area, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the heal root and cancel. We're going to want to harvest some heal root so that we have some medicine, but hopefully we don't need it right away. But we are going to need to go and select some plants. I'm a little bit worried about KitchenAid being a little too busy already with just plant work. Let's set up some priorities over here. We'll leave this off. Capture, this is just a mod called Capture Them, where instead of selecting people individually to capture, you can box select the area, and then it's a job, which is very handy. We're really not going to have to worry about childcare for a good long time. Although, clearly, Price Point, who's our socializer, is going to do that, is going to do wardening, is going to do management. Management job, this is part of the colony management, where you put down a little desk and it auto marks trees for chopping and stuff like that. Whether or not we use it, we'll see. Even though it's got the, it indicates anyone who's got the passion for research. I don't think it skills up research. I think it only skills up social. So I'll just leave it for Price Point as well. This is waiting tables if we run a restaurant. I do have the gastronomy mod, which is part of like sort of hospitality. We may or may not set up the restaurant. If we do, it's probably going to be a later thing. Animal handling, sure, it's a short-term, really quick job, so we'll do that. Entertaining guests, okay. So KitchenAid with the cooking has to be fairly high. The question is it going to be higher than the growing? I mean, early on, we're not going to cook at all. We're just going to be eating raw berries. So I guess I'll leave this here and think about it. Now, Price Point is the one who's super busy. I think, no, okay, hold on. Even though Price Point has a lot of jobs on, Price Point is actually the one that's basically going to be on full-time construction duty. And we'd like them to actually work out more skill and everything. I'll probably leave it on dock value, but maybe on a lower priority. The Smith and Tailor will be quite high, although in practice, we're not going to do that for a while. And crafting, as far as I know, nothing that you craft actually uses the skill really, other than synthesized drugs, which is a little bit different. So I just like to have it on as a baseline for everyone. And I mean, research isn't something we're going to be doing right now, regardless. I think I'll just leave it like this. I mean, really, obviously, we're going to want to weight the research on the people who have the passion for it, but it's kind of moot at this time. Mining, oof, that's not great, is it? Wow. Well, hopefully we get a person who can mine for us later on. Okay, so let's unpause. And I guess I can plan that we're going to have a stockpile zone here, which is going to be the case. And then I'll plan a dumping stockpile zone that's, I don't know, up over here. Now, I want this one to have the preferred and make sure to include waste from the Dub's Bad Hygiene. And then I like to enable all raw resources except for plant matter, because all that can be stored outside without rotting. The wood will eventually decay, but it'll take a long time. Oh, yeah, okay, these corpses, hold on. Let's forbid those. Oh, and this one. Corpses around the monolith. They're just going to get hauled to the stockpile. What we'll do is we'll plan out some graves somewhere over here. 3 graves, and then we'll just bury those people later when I unforbid them again. Okay. Let me enable the automatic rebuild of destroyed stuff. Let me turn off the auto home zoning, which it did home zone around our farmable area, which I might leave on, but I'm going to trim back so that we're not... Let's see, I saw someone dusting the sand out there, which seems weird. I mean, you know, the dirt doesn't get regular dirt, but it still gets other things. We might leave this here because if there's fire, we're going to want to beat it out by our base anyway. I might leave a little bit of a barrier, which I often don't, but we might go ahead and do that. Okay. So yeah, cutting some trees, which is great, because again, we do need some wood here. I suppose if people are totally idle, like I might put on... Yeah, they're going to be so slow at it. But we might need to rush it just to get... Yeah, okay, you know what? I'm going to set a plant cut to 2 for everyone, even if you're kind of crap at it. No, you're building the graves, because, yeah, you're looking for construction jobs. Yeah, do the plant cut. And I'll unforbid these corpses, so they will get around to burying these. I guess I could do an early campfire and do a little bit of hunting, but I need to craft a bow real quick. Harvest botched. Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have any skill for it, unfortunately. We do need to get the plants in the ground really early, because we do need to get, like, the harvest happening. Oh, and we did get a good batch of apples. That's great. Okay. So we're going to have some food kicking around. I don't know how much they eat. Now, I think apples are effectively coated, like, we usually just say berries. I think, like, basically these fruits kind of work the same way. They can be eaten raw without a debuff, but they do have a 2% poison chance. I think if your cooking skill is less than 4, you actually have a higher than that percentage chance to inflict food poisoning. So it's actually better to eat the raw stuff than to cook stuff if your cooking skill is too low. Although eating something like raw rice will give a mood debuff, which is no good. Okay, we are going to plan, maybe rather than walls first, I might go and set up the beds first. Now, obviously, we are a cold corporation, and, you know, we don't actually care about people in any way, but we've recognized that people who are in bad moods aren't very productive. So we do care about keeping moods up just because it's linked to productivity, but only as much as we need to. If we don't have to, then we won't. For the record, difficulty-wise, I think I'm playing on Cassandra Classic, sort of middle difficulty, not very high up. Is that not on this screen? Is that in general? Why am I not? Oh, Storyteller set. I was looking for difficulty. Yeah, Cassandra Classic strives to survive. We've got some self-imposed limitations. We're starting with absolutely no items whatsoever. We're running the Dub's Bad Hygiene mod, which takes up so much time. Actually, one of the things we want to do with our food our wood quite early is set up the primitive well. I think what I'll do is I'll put it sort of here. It'll be maybe in the middle of whatever this space becomes. But yeah, we need a place for people to go and bathe themselves that isn't one little puddles way across the map, or it's going to cost us way too much time. I'm going to get you to prioritize building the well. Although, I mean, we do need the beds, but we would have lost so much time to people running across the map. Yeah, right now they will just have to defecate outdoors, which is going to give them some bad moods. But we'll try to fix it as soon as we can. Chop some more trees, do some more of this. I haven't messed with their schedule yet, but that's probably okay. There you go. Have yourself a snooze. And if I interrupt price point, yeah, I was going to say you'll probably go to sleep. All right, good. So sleep through the night. We are out of food around, although we still have some berries bushes marked. Yeah, and then some more there, which is good. And some more might be coming of Like, might be reaching full maturity, too. Okay, we got that. We don't have any more... No, we do have a few more trees marked to be chopped. Okay. I mean, there's going to be some in the growing area. I guess they'll just move that. I was going to do a haul, but they'll just move it out of this area. All right, get that rice growing. So we'll have our first rice harvest in about 3 days. And then, I mean, maybe we do just let people eat it raw. I believe with our ideology, we're not transhumanist, but I think I did set the nutrient paste, yeah, indifferent. We will be feeding our people nutrient paste. And I guess we have everything we need to do that. Well, we're going to have to do some mining. That's going to be the thing that hurts us the most, is not having anyone with any mining skill early on is going to be extremely painful. Okay. We're going to let them focus on getting these berries a little bit here before we go and build up our berry. I do hate these botches, but I think it is important that we throw some more people into this job. Now, once KitchenAid is done planting, then maybe what I'll do is I'll take the plant cut off the others. You're nearly done planting. You know what? Let's do that. Let's go and disable the plant cut on the others. Let KitchenAid take care of that. There, you'll go a little bit of burring over here, which is fine. Yeah, we found the fallen monolith. That's okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start doing some construction. So, I mean, we could do the log walls. I think it's exactly the same material, but no. Let's just do the standard here. So this is going to be a 13 by 13 wall, which is an 11 by 11 internal area, which is as big as you can get without any extra supports. Well, you can do it longer, and we might, but we'll just do this. A lot of times I do like to center up these doors, but with the beds, sometimes it's a little awkward. I think I'm just going to put the door there next to these beds and call that good enough. We'll start some construction. I don't think we've got enough wood for all of it, but that's okay. So what I'll do is I'll put the chopped wood here. So even if you're not fully mature, we'll point out that we do need those trees chopped, please, because they're going to need to get moved for the roof anyway. So we may as well get that wood as early as possible. Okay, I think we're out of food. What I need to do... Let's find a random fruit plant. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time. I mean, no, that's bramble. Let's say, even if it's not matured. Okay, there we go. There's a berry bush. I'm going to select all these on the map and then harvest fully grown. And yeah, KitchenAid is going to start collecting berries. You're still botching. I mean, your plant skill's not that high yet. Yeah, 4.8. I mean, you've got the passion for it, so it will skill up. Yeah, you're definitely not very quick at it. We're going to want a torch inside. Boom, for some light. We're going to have to plant some cotton fairly soon. I mean, we could also just do a bunch of leather clothes, but we will need weapons set up for hunting for that. And a butcher's table. We shall see. All right. Okay, you're hauling some berries. That's good. So someone will be able to have breakfast or a midnight snack from Price Point. I think people are pretty hungry here. Marble. Steel. Is this steel? No, sandstone. That's too bad. At least, like, we can deconstruct these walls here and get the material. Like, the steel will be nice. It'll save us a tiny bit of mining. Barely, because we're not going to get much material out of this. But at this point, every bit might help. I'll have to worry about some recreation soon, too. Maybe I'll put it down now. Let's get a wooden horseshoe pin. Just off the side, less likely to be in the way of the construction. You know what? I will turn on automatic home zoning. I'll try to trim it back later, because some of the cleaning is going to certainly annoy me. But yeah, we'll do that. Okay, and we do have some extra wood for things, which is great. That setup, which is nice. Let's get the next thing to prevent some mood breaks, and that is going to be a table. I'm going to put it in the corner for maximum space. We'll do that, and then it'll be dining chair, dining chair, dining chair, and then once these are up, we'll go and put a chess table in the corner there, which is something I learned. I mean, it's not recently, but not that long ago in terms of our RimWorld experience. That yeah, you can play chess sort of diagonally this way, which makes this initial setup a lot nicer to double up on some chairs and tables. So that'll help keep a base mood up, because the last thing we want is an early mood break. That would be bad. Let's go and haul these rocks out of the way, because we're getting some slow movement in that corner. How are we doing? 8 without table from barracks. No clothes. Disturb this. Are we getting anything because we chopped trees? Maybe they don't care about it yet. Maybe it's too early for them to get pleasure from the fact that we're regularly chopping down trees. I don't know. Now, at some point relatively soon, we are going to get attacked by a random wild animal. What I'm wondering about... Ooh, level 5 plants. Is... an early set of spike traps just like here, so we can stand on the door and probably, regardless of what angle they attack, they'll go and step on one of the traps. It's not the same as a trap tunnel, but I think it might be a good idea. So no one's actually idle. What are you doing? Gathering berries? Yeah, that's good. Because actually, if we leave the berries out, wild animals will eat them. What I'm going to do in this sort of vision area, there you go. Harvest fully grown. Not too far away, but I need to get a little bit of herbal medicine. We got one already, which is good. Okay, so some people want to go from E. There's just arrived at colony. I mean, we haven't named our colony, so that part is fair. That's interesting. Oh, we got spaceship chunks. So people want to go and sleep here. Now, the thing is, obviously with the kind of Walmart-y theme, the hotel doesn't really make too much sense, but we're, you know, sort of a traveling inn meets a department store kind of combo, right? We've got to make sure we've got some customers. But yeah, I'm not going to accept them now because we don't have any beds. We could refuse visitors until I have guest beds. I'm just going to send away because I want to be constantly reminded. And there's a ship chunk that just dropped. We got the message for it. Can you... Is that zoom? That's annoying. Is it called spacecraft? Is it called chunk? Ship? Ship chunks. Okay, let's plan some deconstruction on those so we can get some components. That'll save us from having to mine components for our initial power setup. Where's our closest steel? There's some there. There's some there. There. I mean, we're not going to have a lot of metals because we don't have a lot of mountain here, but you still get guaranteed a certain minimum. Let's plan to take a strip off that for some early metal. And also, let me select, there we go. This selected, I think, all steel walls on the map. I'm flagging them all for deconstruct. And I kind of expect we're probably out of wood for the traps. There could be some lying around the map. I mean, we don't have any in the inventory, but this only counts anything that's in an actual stockpile. And we definitely don't have any wood stockpile. I guess it would be that stockpile. Well, so no, we do actually have some 23. There it is. But that's not enough to build these traps. So we'll have to do a little bit more chop. Doesn't help, of course, that we're also making these chairs. Now, we could set up production, a crafting spot early on. And from here, there are a few things that we can craft early. For example, we can craft a short bow, which I think we should probably make one. We could make some clubs as well. Maybe I should make 3 clubs. Yeah, maybe we'll just make, we can make wooden clubs? I don't know. I'm assuming that a stone club hits harder. We don't have the blocks, but it wouldn't be hard for us to start producing blocks. I think I will just limit to stone clubs. But yeah, we'll do the short bow and we'll equip it to our one hunter. Now, I am running the simple sidearms mod, which does let people equip both a ranged and a melee weapon. That will apply to our attackers as well. Now, it's not that I'm particularly looking to run that, although I do kind of like the idea that people run both. The big reason I run it is so that we can use the equipment manager to have people automatically equip weapons on their own without being constantly told to do it. I don't mind assigning people weapons normally. I just hate it that whenever something happens that causes them to drop a weapon, then you have to go and tell them to pick it up again over and over and over. And I hate that. So yeah, we're not going to do that. We're just going to use this so that people can equip their own. And I'm sure we're going to like micro the loadouts to basically be defining exactly what people should wear. It's just crazy to me. We have the apparel system built into the game. Why don't we have exactly this, but for guns? That seems strange to me, because to me, it's kind of the same thing. Anyway, that's what I use Equipment Manager for. So if you haven't seen it before, but you probably have because you probably watch my videos, but you set up these loadouts that get assigned through skills and whatever, but my pawns are going to equip a primary weapon and a melee sidearm, and the rules for which weapons get picked are over here. So highest DPS, I don't know what the A is per time tick. Normally it's like damage per second. I don't know what the A is. Damage per second adjusted for weapon accuracy. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's quite cool. So yeah, they're going to try to equip the weapons that are kind of most appropriate. We can change these stats and have the weighing go automatically. What tends to happen later when I get proper guns being made is I just tend to filter the weapons in such a way that they're basically only equipping the one weapon that I want. But it's great because they do go and re-pick them up constantly, which is just grand. By changing the weighting, right now people got a mix of assault, sniper, and support for their loadouts. I just want one ranged loadout called assault. They're going to recalculate. I think it recalculates twice a day, so they'll all go to assault over there. Brawlers will be set to automatically to a melee only rule. But yeah, everyone else is just going to get some ranged weapons assigned. Now we do have someone who is a melee specialist, but we're still going to want them to have a pair of things. Now in this case, actually, I might want to do a little bit of micro. At the very least, I'm going to want to make sure, who's our best gunner? Yeah, I was going to say price point is the best gunner. Really what we're going to want to do is make sure you get the bow. Or what I can do is, maybe I should set a job at the crafting point. Maybe I make 3 short bows. Yeah, why wouldn't I want everyone to have a ranged item as quickly as possible? Sure. Okay, let's do that. Go get a little bit of metal. And how are the crops coming here? Okay. About 1 day away to a harvest. So what we could do is I could pre-plan out the sort of 13 by 13 blocks. Mostly so that if I'm thinking about building an outbuilding that will later be merged into the whole, I can do that ahead of time, which is kind of nice. I'm actually wondering, I know we lose 2 tiles of fertile terrain here, but I'm actually wondering if this area here should be prepped into some sort of like kitchen food production kind of area. Or could just put it up a little bit higher. But that would be awfully close to our primary harvest spot. Because I would like to set things up so that my nutrient paste dispenser is good to go with being refrigerated and everything. Yeah, I kind of think that might be the case. Like, yeah, see, oh, you do let me put it down. Oh, I guess that's right. You need some basic material first. But let's say I do this. This acts as a wall by itself, right? So then we wall up the rest, turn this into the freezer kind of long term. We might build a smaller wall section first just to get it started. But yeah, turn that into a freezer. And then we can put the little dining area a little bit closer. But then it's near the food harvest is kind of just what I'm thinking. So I'm going to make this only kind of half width for now. Like that. And then, yeah, we'll put the door back here from the harvest. And then we'll put some power. What I might do is just put the little power just off here. So people have to load up the food from the back, which is okay. Now, on the wiki, there's a diagram that if you have a nutrient paste dispenser like this, this hopper gets pulled from first, and then it goes anti-clockwise, the order of the hopper getting picked up. And that's fine and easy to understand. What I don't know, though, is if you do this, because it says something about if you rotate, it doesn't change. So I'm thinking that maybe it still pulls from the bottom left corner. So this is still first, as opposed to this one. I think that might be the case, but I don't know. But yeah, probably. Because what I like to do is have one hopper with the maximum priority for meat. Well, which only really matters if we don't have refrigeration. If we have refrigeration, then the order of the hopper consumption really doesn't make a difference. Let's chop these trees because we'll definitely need to chop them because they're in the way. We've got a few berries. Good. In fact, we got so many, some of these might rot. I guess I did flag a lot of bushes to get harvested. There's probably still some. I'm wondering if I should halt. Yeah, I think so because we're going to get a rice harvest soon. I'm going to cancel the berry bushes from still being harvested. We discovered an ancient mech. That's great. Actually, one of our people specifically wants to become a mechanator. What does KitchenAid want? So KitchenAid wants to read a fascinating Eldritch tome. Well, that doesn't sound bad. Wants to become a parent. Wants to bond with an animal. Okay. Wants to propose to someone. Wants to become an ideological figure. Well, we might be able to do some of that. We'll see. I guess now's a good time to put in a cut. So we've got, we've established our theme. We've got the basic I'm not going to die today base set up, although we certainly still need a lot. We need some bathrooms fairly soon. Bedroom policy. I was thinking we'd probably run a big sort of dormitory / barracks for our regular class employees. But anyone who does pair off, they will get their own bedrooms, because what we want to do is really develop our future employees. And in fact, I think we might develop an artificial insemination program, some IVF on this particular run. I think I really like this idea to do that. But we'll see. We'll see what the vibe develops. We'll see if people pair off. We'll see. Maybe we're going to be able to capture lots of people as prisoners, because we're going to want a good number of employees for sure. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you're new to the channel, of course, make sure to subscribe. But in general, dropping a like and a comment really helps the YouTube algorithm a lot. Much appreciated, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.